With the pre-questing and leveling, we're going to go through a few things. So the first thing we're going to go through is what are pre-quests. So pre-quests are completing a quest before the launch of an expansion or before the launch of a new phase. Such as, for example, dailies and hand-ins back in the day where you handed in your dailies and got a little boost before the WoW expansion launches, so you're a little bit ahead of the pack as per se. The next part is, what is the objectives of these pre-quests? They're usually used to gain enough EXP to either skip a zone or get it to a certain point where people can do certain content, whether it's dungeoning or the expansion idea or whatever. In this context for SOD, pre-quests can be used to get to STV, Desolus, Arathi, Hillsbrad, and Outrick just a bit earlier compared to other players, to get into a new zone before other players. Now, pre-quests can also be used to get to higher level dungeons, such as SM Graveyard and Library, and this is going to become a big key part of your leveling process if you can level via dungeoning. Now, one thing I've got to add as well with pre-quests, these sort of pre-quests are a lot different compared to current WoW. Basically, with current WoW and retail WoW, you get a new quest zone or quest log for an expansion. However, for SOD, if you hand in those quests, those quests are gone for good. So if you've picked up some certain pre-quests like Morbid Fell, the Obama's Wife and whatnot, those are level 32 quests that you're not going to get back. Now, next up, there's 3 types of pre-quests in particular. So first pre-quests are like normal in your quest log. So you're just handing in, for example, if you're handing in Stormwind Ho after killing all the Murlocs at Southfield, that is a pre-quest. Handing in Elixir of Agony, that is a pre-quest, basically. It's just normal quests that you have to go around the world to get the objectives and just hand in. The next set of pre-quests is just quests that can be activated in your inventory, whether it be like the Powers Below book in Darkshore, Washe Porne in Barrens, all the Barrens hunts and all the Ashenvale hunts. By right-clicking them, you can start it. The third type of pre-quest is that a quest that you can collect the objectives without having it to have in your log. For example, the Soothing Turtle Beast quest, which is coming up at level 30. Obviously the Wolf Kebabs quest as well for Alliance. You can gather a lot of these materials before starting the quest and instantly hand it in. Same thing with the Warsong Gulch marks as well. You can do the same thing as there as well. Now, the other part of the pre-quest is quests that you can do, which are follow-ups that you can do in a small amount of time. So, for example, for Orma's Revenge in Wetlands, there's a quest to kill 10 mottled Scythe Claws and whatnot. You can hand that quest in, and the next quest will be kill Saultooth for Raptor very nearby. So that's another of a pre-request that you can do, where you get double the bonus basically, because the next quest is either very easy to do and in the area, or is completed almost immediately. So what pre-quest should I get? And this is a Pandora's box of a question, okay? Because in SOD Phase 1, there's a lot of pre-BIS gear for various classes from certain quests. Like, for example, I mentioned Almost Revenge before. Every hunter would have completed Almost Revenge to get Raptor's End. If you didn't, then I'm surprised. You must have got a good bow from a lucky drop, or you got the bow from Warsong Gulch Trap. Because, you know, Raptor's End was one of the better bows before getting into the raid. It was also very easy to get. And also, sometimes you want gold and gear, and, you know, I can understand that 100%. The idea of pre-quest is that what you want to do is you want to maximize the amount of EXP, but you want to minimize the travel time to hand in everything. This is exceptionally difficult in Classic WoW, given the fact there's very little teleports, and the only ways you can get to anywhere very quickly is just having a summoning service 24/7. You also want to look for quests which are quick after you've handed in a few quests. So in particular, like, you know, Almost Revenge, as I said before. And you can also look at War Banners. As you hand in War Banners, you can quickly hand in the Catapults quest if you're heading that direction. Now, let's take a look at my pre-requests to give you an idea. Be aware, guys, that this is on an Excel spreadsheet. So you can see here the pre-requests. I've used Alenya's guide to build up my pre-requests of what they have, and then added my own pre-requests in between, depending on my leveling guide in particular. I'll link Alenya's spreadsheet, which is for all to see below. Obviously, they did most of the work. And what I did was I looked for extra quests on Wowhead to see if there's any other quests that could replace or be better than this in particular. So my strategy seems to be, as you can see with the Color of Blood and a few others where I haven't done them before, like the dungeon quests. Sorry, not the Color of Blood. Crime and Punishment, for example. And I've replaced those with normal quests. So the main ones of why I've replaced it with normal quests is that I'm going to plan to do stockades when the phase launches, which means I can wait to hand everything in and pick up the Fury Run Steep, crime and punishment, and what comes around. I've also added Blue Leaf Troopers, Mortality Waves, and Wizix as well, because I plan to do at least one RFK. However, it may be likely that I may not do this and go to SM instead. Now, as you can see, the pickup quests in particular, as I said before, these are quests that I can complete almost instantly. So Season Wolfka Bulbs, WSG tokens, Powers Below, Ineptitude and Fun, Sarah Baloo's Letter, which I've picked up previously, and all the Wool quests and all the Silk quests as well. Be aware you can't get the Silk quest until you hit 26. So you can see with another spreadsheet I've worked there is that total XP before heading to Ironforge, because I need to make sure I hit 26 so I can hand in all my Silk to the respective quartermasters. So with the prequest, as you can see, I have 3 categories of prequest, as I said before, 1, 2, and 3. So basically, you can see all my ideas coming into that as I discussed in the previous section. So you can see the logs, the immediate vicinity, almost revenge and catapults. You can also see I can plan to do some stockades and RFK and into SM, and then pretty much I'll hand in all my stockades quests as I make my way up. Now, how to level in SOD Phase 2. You can simply just ignore pre-questing, pick up where you left off in Phase 1, and just do the quests as normal. 1, you can utilize pre-questing, dungeon to about 30, then go to Shimmering Flights and STV, and basically start the initial quest chains there. Or, you can utilize pre-questing dungeon until you're level 40 by moving from stockades to RFK if needed, or you can go to SM right away, and basically pretty much do SM Graveyard Lib Armory, and then Armed Calf until you're 40. With going SM early, make sure you get a lot of hit talents, percentage hit talents, because it's highly likely that you're going to miss a lot or resist a lot, and that's going to rely a lot on your DPS. Arcane Mages and Warlocks have a lot of hit talents early on. Warlocks can play Affliction and have 10% hits, so pretty much you can hit anything above your level. So that's a lot of things that you really need to go for. Now, to give you guys an idea of the mob's level range, as found out on Wildhead, so the mob range in Graveyard is 28 to 31, and the bosses all being 33, which aren't guaranteed to spawn. In Library, it's between 33 to 36, with Loxy being 34 and Dome being 37. You need to defeat Dome at least once to get the Scarlet Key if needed, but most likely be a lot of people just opening the door to go to Armor and Calf for you, but I'd still get the key just in case. And then you do 35 to 37 in Armory for the mobs there as well. And then last but not least is 37 to 40 in Cathedral. So eventually what's going to happen is that you're going to do GY Lib for a bit. Once you get to the minimum level of Library being 33, of course not the minimum level, but the minimum level of the mobs, you're going to head into Armory as well. And then you're going to keep doing that, and eventually you're going to get to the point where you're doing Armory and Cathedral. Now, some people may ask, you can only get 5 resets before you enter another instance. If you guys don't know, Armory and Cathedral is 1 instance, which means you're not going to get locked out by the 5 lockout. You're not going to get locked out by the 5 instances entered lockout at all. And also, there's some instances that also have immune to that. Now, leveling via questing. So if you decide to level via questing, you need to really check which zones you are going into, either as Alliance as Horde. And some factions may have chains or early level quests going into it. One example, of course, is some Capital City quests, the Highlands quest for Horde to go into Arafi Highlands to kill some farmers. And there's also a quest of how to curing the plague, for example, in South Shore and Hillsbat Foothills before you go into Arafi with it as well. Also, you want to look at as well that Arafi has very few 30 to 34 quests for Alliance, but Horde have a lot of 33 to 34 quests. So you need to know what zone you're going into and how many 31 to 32 quests they have. So in particular, the reason why I recommended STV, for example, is there's a lot of 31 to 32 quests. For Alliance and Horde, you want to get all the flight paths in the level 30 to 40 zones before leveling. You can do this in Phase 1 right now. And also you can go to RestedXP and other leveling guides. They have great guides. So I don't want to really expand on leveling via questing here because I don't think I can do a good enough service compared to other guides. Let's talk about the flight points. The flight points for Alliance, you want to go to Chillwind Post, Gadgetson, Falinar, Faramore, Ratchet, South Shore, Booty Bay, Refuge Point, and Nigel's Point. You should probably have most of these flight points already, other than probably Chillwind Post and maybe Gadgetson as Alliance, and maybe, no, you should have South Shore if you're doing SFK. For Horde, you want to get Shadowprey Village, Booty Bay, Ratchet, Tarren Mill, Freewind Post, Gadgetson, Gromgol, Kaigath, Hammerfall, and Stonard. The reason why you want to get Stonard's not too important to get, but there are a few quests in Swamp of Sorrows that you may be able to do as Horde. Kaigath is just basically to join the continents, and at the same time, if you do want to go into Badlands at any point and hand in those easy handing quests, which are right nearby, you can definitely do so as well. Now, These flight points will speed up leveling because you don't have to run to the flight points. You can just fly right there. Now, there's also a few other things if you're doing quests in particular, and this is what I really highlighted in Badlands, is that you can pick up some items at the moment for some of these Badland quests. Like, for example, the Koro Tomb, you can pick up from engineering vendors. I picked up mine from Booty Bay. You can pick up the 9 blue pearls around the Elite Murlocs area, which you can pick them up around the clams outside STV. You can pick up 4 buzzard wings by killing the young Mesa vultures. They're level 31, 32 in Arafi Highlands. Sorry, as it says for Badlands, but it's in Arafi Highlands. Maybe a healing potion for Badlands, and pattern bronze bases also for Badlands as well. You can collect these now for these future Badland quests that you can put into your bank, going for obviously Badlands quick run. There are also other things as well for Badlands that aren't obtainable, such as the frost oil and the lesser visibility potions, which you're going to have to ask an alchemy very nicely for. Some people have also said that Winter's Bite and the other herbs don't seem to drop from chests yet, so you might be waiting quite a while for this. Also for Dustwallow Marsh, you may want to get plans or anything like that for a Moonsteel Broadsword. You can't craft that yet, it requires 180 blacksmithing, so you might want to give this one a miss. Last but not least, you want to get the 240 Silk Cloth and Wool Cloth for extra EXP boost from the respective Cloth Masters in every single area, so you can get one Thunderbluff, Orgrimmar, where it has Troll and Orc, and also Undead. Same with Alliance with Night Elf, Human, Dwarf, and Gnome. And of course, 10 Turtle Meat and 1 Serving Spice for Hillsbrad for respective Horde and Alliance quests. Now, last but not least is the new way for leveling. So Agron has hinted that Blackpath and Deeps, or Depths, or whatever it is, I think it's Deeps, may provide a different alternative to leveling. It'll also still be on the 3-day lockout, and it could be used as a leveling dungeon. I have no idea how this is going to work, whether BFD is always going to be +3 levels on top of your level and whatnot. I have no idea on what EXP it gives currently, as you can only enter it at level 25. There's been no other comments or mentions made about the experience it gives, whether bosses give a bit extra or so there's a quest that comes out of it. Pretty much. There are some people who have speculated in particular that it could be another raid added to Gnome Reagan. I do not believe that this is the case. They believe that the gear is going to scale up. The reason why I don't believe that's the case is that a lot of people are going to be doing raiding for Gnome Reagan and for BFD right afterwards. Now, another thing as well, one thing you want to take a look at is something to look at, especially if you can speedrun BFD. So if you clear BFD in about 30 to 35 minutes, this could be a good thing to take a look at, especially if the EXP is good. And you can probably test whether the EXP is good by just getting to Baron Aquinas as quickly as you can and seeing how the EXP is. I've got to say, if it provides at least probably a quarter of your level, or even an eighth of your level, in that one part alone, that's probably going to be very worth it in the meantime, especially if it gets you an entire level as well. Anyways, guys, I wish you guys a happy leveling process. If you guys enjoy it quite a bit,